I do have a fenced-in yard, and I start by training my young dogs to a head halter. And so if you haven't seen the head halter videos, you should go and review that playlist because that's the first step. Once you can manage your dog on a 6-foot leash and on a head halter and in your fenced-in yard, then you're ready to start training to a long line. When dogs are young, they often follow us around, and we can take advantage of that by playing games with them and getting them to focus on us. Because as they get older and their vision and hearing and sense of smell develop, they're going to start to be more interested in the wild world. You have to realize, even though they're following you around as a puppy, you want to cultivate that and grow it, because as an adult, they might just take right off on you.
So I'm going to reward the good behavior by taking off the head halter. I can just switch these because I think he's going to be good. I don't know. We'll see, but...
So if he pulls me and drags me with his 95 pounds to go sniff something, I have something I can do. I can put the head halter on and go, I didn't really like being dragged, so now I have to have, I guess I have to, you can't have as much freedom.
Silly Gilly BB. He's going to get a little message. Okay. Motion. You sit. Let's try it again. B, you're so good. Let's go this way. Oop. Okay. We'll try again later. Motion. Uh-oh. Motion. Good boy. Nice. Here you go. Okay. Motion. Good boy. Okay, let's go.
Different environments require different kinds of gear, and I know some people feel or might disagree with me about having motion on a head halter in a park. But that wasn't something that we just walked right down to. We practiced a lot on the sidewalk up above where we can look down on the park. And I waited until he was calm and responsive there, and then as a reward I bring him down here, and I want him to be able to be relaxed on a head halter, on a leash, because otherwise he could scare people. This is an example of a day when motion he did not earn going down to the beach. I walked back and forth on this little sidewalk area, and as you can see, he was being a handful. He was just so excited. It was extremely cold. And so that was a different habitat for him, to be able to control his emotions in the extreme cold, where there was that beautiful space where he could run and warm right up. He was just too excited. So no, we just went back to the car. We trained back and forth on the sidewalk, and then I went and put him in the car. No matter what kind of a collar you use, whether or not you use a head halter, if you use a body harness, when you get to the point where you drop the leash, it just makes it easier for you to catch your dog and socialize your dog the way that you want to. Whether it's just a dropped leash and you're in a small yard with a shy little dog like this one, or whether you have a 100-foot long line out in the field. I was training back and forth with the two toy game. So I had it on a long line as I was throwing, a toy one way and then calling it back and then throwing a toy the other way. And it was just going really fast. I picked up the long line and just ripped all the skin right out of my hand. Another time that dog, the long line went flying by the back of my bare legs and it, gave me a rope burn on the back. I don't get to the point where now I have dogs going at that speed on a long line.
We're just gonna go for a walk. Whoopsie. And I walked from our house. Whoopsie. I'm sorry. Motion, sit. Heel. Good boy.
Motion knows there's another little dog on the trail just ahead, and so he's very excited and eager to get in there.
Sorry.
And what I'm showing him is that we will walk toward the trail when he is being responsive and listening to me. And if he pulls ahead of me and isn't paying any attention to me, then we're going to go the other direction. I start with a 50-foot long line, and I have knots tied in it. It doesn't have a handle. And then you can cut it in half when the dog seems like they're functioning well on that length. So you really try to respond to the dog's behavior by giving him more freedom when he's listening to you and responding quickly, and taking just a little bit of freedom away, maybe by picking up the long line or by putting on the long line, depending where he's at. You go back and forth and you give them more freedom when they're behaving responsibly, and you take a little bit of it away when they're being a handful. Sometimes you have to go back 2 steps and put on the head halter and a 6-foot leash because the dog is just being too excited and he isn't functioning well on a long line. Other times you find you don't need a long line at all, and that can depend upon a lot: the season of the year, what the deer are doing in the woods, where you are, and it can really vary from winter through spring and fall. So you have to be able to read your dog's body language and really know what your dog needs at that moment. I made mistakes with Tiger Lily when she was little, and I gave her too much freedom, and so she learned to take off hunting on me. But when I got Bee was a big help because Bee would go and gather up Tiger Lily for me and prevent her from taking off. Oftentimes when I just keep Tiger Lily busy, and that helps prevent her from going and find something else interesting to do. But sometimes if you're just trying to go for a walk in the woods and you aren't really focused on your dog, having a long line on the dog helps the dog focus better on you. The biggest mistake I made with Tiger Lily when she was a puppy was I let her find too many opportunities to escape and go hunting or jump off the boat or take off after deer on me. And so with Motion, what I'm doing is I'm making sure that he doesn't make those mistakes when he's a young dog, and that way he'll be more like Bee, she has never had that opportunity right from the beginning. I prevented her from going off hunting on me, and so she stays with me because that's her habit, and that's going to be Motion's habit as well.